So I was on a discussion with Joanna earlier this week, and it was really hilarious. I was actually on that hike that I just mentioned, and she messaged me, and I had my phone because I was taking pictures and everything. And she's like, we need to do a gut health product leader chat type thing. And I literally had just been thinking it right before she messaged me. I was like, that's just crazy. But we had a chat earlier last week with regards to a gal who had liver failure, was in liver failure and on our products. And so we started talking about some of the things in our product line that can help support her, and what are the steps that a person would take to kind of work alongside of a liver failure situation or problems like that. And these things come up. We definitely need to be aware of medical issues and so forth. Although with that said, I will tell you that I will say that, of course, in all circumstances, the biggest thing you guys want to be aware of when you're working with somebody who is on medications or is struggling with a medical issue is that you always, always recommend that they work alongside their doctors on any of these issues. And that's the case even as they're ordering our products. We definitely can guide them with our gut health products, but we don't want to be superseding what a doctor would be telling them to do, and so on and so forth. So please always be aware of that. I'm going to throw out some kind of basics here too as good reminders. I even had this come up for myself in the last week where I'm working with a gal with thyroid, and I have my description of everything that I tell people when they get started. I have it saved in my notes, and I just copy and paste, and then I'll add in if they're on medications. And I forgot to do it with this gal, and she's like, well, when do I take my thyroid medications? I was like, oh boy, I need to tell her that. You know, it's a 4-hour gap, 3 to 4 hour gap if you're on thyroid medication outside of taking our Plexus products, and on all other medications, it's generally 30 to 60 minutes outside of taking our product line. So just always be sure that you're telling people that information as well. So that's just kind of some basics. So I'm going to go over triplex, but I'm going to focus on, Jennifer, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question. Actually, I'm on thyroid medication myself, and I've been taking the collagen. So I should have been waiting 3 to 4 hours after I took my thyroid medication to take that collagen.
I don't know that it's going to be such a big deal with the collagen as much as it will be like the triplex products and even X Factor Plus. But I mean, to be on the safe side, yeah, just take your thyroid independent of everything else. And for me, I usually take my collagen with my pink drink, which I take right away in the morning. And you're definitely going to want to take your pink drink outside of the thyroid. So if you take those two together, that just makes it easy. Oh, I was going to say something and I lost my train of thought. Yeah. What are you mixing your collagen with right now?
I stick it in my hot tea that I drink in the mornings.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't think that's as big of a deal as the other products, but maybe just switch it up to be on the safe side.
Okay, yeah, because I wanted to start the stomach health stuff too, so I'm glad you said that, because I would have just taken it in the morning with everything.
You're also on what?
I wanted to start taking like your other stomach products too, just to see, and I would have just taken everything all together in the morning. So I'm glad that you said that. So
you're not on our gut health products right now?
I can't hear you.
You're not on our gut health products right now? The other products?
I was on the I'm on the collagen, and then I tried taking the Slim, but because my stomach is the size of a walnut, it was making me not eat, which for me is a bad thing. So I stopped taking that, but I wanted, so I was going to order just the gut health, other stuff. That's why she had me come on this, just so I can learn more about like the gut health product and what that can do for me.
Okay. Did you have the sleeve put on, or what?
I had the gastric bypass done.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so if the Slim is bothering your stomach, the first thing that I would tell you to do is probably to start with our ProBio 5 and BioCleanse. But those two products, even those two products, you're going to have to be real careful about given your situation. They're both really good for you, but how your stomach is going to respond to those two products, you're going to have to kind of test the waters, if you will. So if you have a problem taking both of those products, ProBio 5 and BioCleanse, then I would back off of ProBio 5 and start with the BioCleanse. So this is kind of a common issue with the triceps, and your example is a good one for other people to learn off of as well. So with her situation, she's had a major surgery that obviously impacts the digestive system. We've seen this situation with a lot of other people in plexus where they then have many sensitivities, and in her case, she also has thyroid disease, which could be an indicator that she has a leaky gut issue, not guaranteed, but could be a strong indicator that she has or had a leaky gut issue. And with all of that, you have a lot of internal inflammation in the digestive tract and usually in the system itself. The thyroid disease, if I'm talking too fast, tell me, but the thyroid disease also works kind of hand in hand with glucose levels. It regulates glucose. And when you start to get, there's a lot of things that are going on there actually. With an autoimmune disease like thyroid, you can have a buildup in your protein, in your muscle mass, and you can have, generally speaking, you've got a kind of a trigger effect where your glucose, oftentimes you're getting your glucose, you're taking in too much glucose, your insulin is then increasing, which puts a stressor on your body in terms of your adrenal glands, and then the thyroid is also trying to regulate all of what's going on, and then it gets kind of out of whack in layman's terms, and you've got a domino effect of chaos going on kind of internally. So that's why the gut health products here is so important. So you just like opened up a can of worms with what you talked about, because that all goes hand in hand with what we're going to be discussing tonight. So when somebody is in a situation like her, or any autoimmune disease or a digestive disease, it is not uncommon for them not to be able to handle the Slim drink. So just please make that note. It's not uncommon. And so if it happens to you, don't like be in a panic mode of like, oh my gosh, everybody takes our Slim drink. How can she not handle our Slim drink? Usually it is just an indicator that you need to take a step back and help her clean up her gut health. So I had an example of this with a lady a couple of years ago. She's still on our products, but she had digestive issues. She was 63 years old at the time. She had had digestive issues for like 30 years. She had mega allergies against multiple foods, etc. Couldn't take the pink drink. We backed her off. We tried to put her on the ProBio 5 and BioCleanse. She could not handle the BioCleanse. We backed her off of that, only on ProBio 5. We kept trying to add in the pink drink and BioCleanse separately at various times along the pathway. This took about 4 to 5 months, and each time we tried to add those products in, she could not handle the products. Her body was just going crazy. You know, the rumbling, the digestive issues, nausea, all of the things. And so I'm being really transparent here with you guys, because I want you to recognize that sometimes people's bodies are so out of whack that this is not abnormal, but I don't want you to panic and go, oh, well then something's, number one, if you're new to this company, you might think maybe something is wrong with our products. Maybe our products don't work for everybody. That's not generally the case. I don't really see that being the problem. Really, it's generally they're so mucked up, you have to like take these very tiny baby steps. So in the case of my good friend Pam, she ended up taking only ProBio 5 for, I think it was about 4 to 5 months. It might have even been longer. Like, I think I started her in November. She could not take the BioCleanse till June. And then we eventually added the pink drink to it. But after we got through a good 6 to 7 months with her, She is now able to eat absolutely any food she wants. She has no digestive problems, etc. So it's pretty miraculous how the body can transform. But you have to be mindful and aware of their situation. That's probably the most important part of the triplex products when you're dealing with somebody who has a compromised immune system, has a disease of one sort or another, particularly if they're in the digestive tract. It's not a matter of handing them a blueprint, the how-to blueprints that you guys get that pass around the company and that corporate office offers us. Those are a great tool for probably a good portion of our customers. But tonight, what I really wanted to focus on is what's going on with people like Jennifer and people like my good friend Pam, where they might run up against the inability to take one of the triplex products, or they're running up against the inability to lose the weight. They're having liver digestive issues like was going on with Joanna's people, and kind of help you guys get a bigger picture of why this is happening and how you can handle it. So first and foremost, I just want to really clarify, because I know we have a lot of new people on this team, and so it merits us taking a moment to explain some of the major the biggest impact that triplex has, and that is to decrease the body of candida, decrease the body of inflammation, and increase good gut bacteria and level blood sugars. Those are the four big things that the triplex does. The most important part of that, in my opinion, is getting rid of the candida, which is a yeast overgrowth. And this is a real bear because it creates a cycle in your body. Yeast overgrowth, once it's triggered, creates a cycle in your body. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what yeast is or candida, just for quick layman's terms, it is a very heavy toxin that will attack good gut bacteria, your digestive tract, and create mega inflammation throughout your body. And it can trigger many different diseases. By attacking your good gut bacteria, it's going to also compromise your immune system. It can create enough toxicity and inflammation in your digestive tract that will perforate the lining of the intestines and lead to leaky gut. So leaky gut is your your toxins in your digestive tract, along with proteins that are not meant to be in your bloodstream leaking into your bloodstream. When that happens, your immune system turns around and attacks because it recognizes a foreign body in the bloodstream, but what it's really doing is attacking you. And that's how you end up with autoimmune diseases. So this yeast overgrowth is a major, major component of, maybe component's the wrong word to use. I almost want to say it's a major enemy in your body. And so even if we level blood sugars, tried to reduce inflammation, increase good gut bacteria, but you still have the yeast lingering around, guess what the yeast is going to do? It's going to turn around and attack good gut bacteria, increase inflammation, and cause you to crave sugars and carbs, which is then going to imbalance your blood sugars. So you really are not getting very far with the triplex if we didn't have that one key component of Probio 5 and the enzymes in Probio 5 being able to break down candida and rid it from the body. That is a very key element to our triplex products, and it is the big, in my opinion, the biggest reason or the biggest aspect that sets us apart from other companies. So how does this work if you're working with somebody who has a disease, particularly if they're taking medications? This is an important aspect to realize also, because it's very similar to working with somebody who has a sugar addiction. And you're trying to give them our products, which are going to lessen their sugar cravings, but it is just a tool, right? If that person intentionally goes out and eats a half a sheet cake every day, even with our amazing tools, you're not getting anywhere, right? This is the same concept with medications. If they're taking a medication, medications are creating dead matter in the body, and they are compromising good gut bacteria. They're destroying good gut bacteria. And that destruction of good bacteria is creating dead matter that the yeast feeds off of, okay? So yeast actually triggers disease, and then you add on an antibiotic that creates dead matter to feed the yeast, which then expands more so in your body, right? Creates further deterioration, increased inflammation, attack of your GI system, attack of your good gut bacteria, further compromise of your immune system. It typically will trigger an additional disease. You go back to the doctor, you get another antibiotic, or maybe it's not a disease, maybe it's just the flu because your immune system is weakened. So you get another antibiotic, say a Z-Pak for the flu. Now you feed more of the yeast overgrows again. So you end up in this mad cycle, okay? So when you're dealing with people who are on medications, it's important for you to understand what I just explained, because when they are not getting the results that they want in the time frame that they want it, when they are not seeing the weight loss, I'm going to talk about the weight loss aspect in a minute, you can at least be aware of, okay, I need to guide them carefully. I need to put it in layman's terms and explain that this is not going to be a quick and easy process for them as compared to somebody else who's not on medications, because the person on medications is doing what I said before. They're eating the half a sheet cake, right? We're helping them get rid of yeast, but then they're taking medication, which is killing good gut bacteria and feeding yeast. So it's kind of a going back and forth type of situation. So that is one of the reasons why it takes a lot longer for somebody on medications and so disease prone to see the effects of weight loss in particular, and even the effects of improved mood, fatigue, all of that stuff to go away. It's going to take them longer because they're working through the battle of a lot larger amount of yeast is number one reason, and they're up against the medications that they're taking as they begin our products. So one component of let me just pause for a second because I'm going to move into another product that is going to help with this process. But before I do, I guess I want to slow down and just ask, does anybody have any questions about what I just said? And also, I didn't really go over like how to take Plex or the triplex. How do you work with your customer in terms of guiding them through the triplex and so forth? Does anybody on here need help with that aspect?
There is a question in the chat.
Thank you.
Yep.
The maximum amount of ProBio 5 that you should need to take is 4. So I can't see your name. I'm sorry. It says it's coming from the gal on the iPhone. So I apologize. I don't know who that is. But I would like, if you're listening still, I would love to ask you back, like, do you know how to regulate how many ProBio 5 they're taking, where to start them out? Does anyone have questions in terms of how you start a person on ProBio 5? And then how do you know when to increase that?
Yeah, I would like to have more information about that. If you could give it, that would be great.
Okay. And then Ariel?
I had some questions too. I know Joni and I briefly talked about it earlier this week, I believe it was, as far as like I had only been taking 2 ProBio 5, and I saw in one of the group chats that we always want to work for, like science. But Joni explained if you still like, and since that's like your go-to thing, some of the science behind that.
Okay. Was she breaking? She was breaking up for me. Was she breaking up for you guys? Okay. I apologize, Ariel. You're going to have to repeat.
I'm sorry.
Now I can hear you.
So I was only taking 2 ProBio 5, and then I had seen somewhere in the group chat that we should be working up to 4. And Joni and I had talked briefly about it, or I had asked briefly some questions, and it was pretty much like if you're still feeling any of the symptoms that are on the overgrowth symptoms chart, that we should be working up. But I was just wondering if you could explain a little bit more of the science behind that. Just, I mean, that's the type of learner I am, and it's always interesting, and then just helps me understand like the rhyme and the reason for things so I can replicate that.
Okay, will do. So I'm going to share with you what I do when I'm working with a customer, unless they're an extreme case. And I don't generally work off those sheets, but you guys got to remember when I explain this to you that I'm old school. Like when I started, those sheets didn't exist, and I've been doing what I do for so long that I don't really use the sheets. But that doesn't mean that those sheets aren't a good guide for you guys to all use. With that said, when I'm starting, the majority of people I start out, I put them on 1 Slim, 2 BioCleanse, and 1 ProBio5 at night. So the 2 BioCleanse, I generally direct to be taken an hour after breakfast. That also has, there's a lot of people in our company that will take the BioCleanse with the ProBio5 at night. So again, I'm old school. When I started, they did it the way I just explained, which is 2 BioCleanse an hour after breakfast and 1 BioCleanse or 1 ProBio5 at night. So that's what I stay with. So there's arguments to be done both ways. So there is a little bit of flexibility in our products, that's for sure. And once I give those instructions, I will tell people. First of all, at the same time I give instructions of how to take the products, I always tell people what to expect in terms of detox. I will be very thorough about that. I actually have an article on Candida. If I think there's going to be any type of heavy-duty Candida, I will give them the full article. Or if they've shown me that they're real sciencey, or they ask a ton of questions, or they want to know all the details, I give them the article, because I don't want any doubt in their mind that I'm just blowing smoke at them and telling them that I don't have the accolades to be sharing this type of information. So then I use the document basically as third-party validation of what I'm telling them. And so I'm very open in the very beginning conversation about the detoxification, because then they know what to expect. And when they come back and say, oh my gosh, I gained 3 pounds, in my first couple of weeks or whatever, I'll say, yep, we talked about that. I explained why that would happen, etc. The same thing goes for any of the other die-off symptoms. I cannot stress to you guys enough that this is super duper important, because I just signed a girl this week who was signed under somebody else, and she was not explaining this, and she actually took about 3 months for her to sign to me, and I didn't pursue her. She kept eventually coming back to me. She wanted these products back so badly because she keeps looking at the outcome. But when she took them initially, she was like bent over, puking, that kind of thing, because it was not explained to her properly and she wasn't taking them the right way. But when people have the initial explanation, they are so much more willing to work with you long term, and to work through the die-off symptoms and the detox. And this also goes along with building their belief while you're educating them and while you're checking in on them. So building belief is like, give them some testimonials to look at. If they're struggling with losing weight, go find a weight loss testimonial where it took somebody. I have a couple of them saved that are my go-to testimonials. I just grab them all the time. And this last one I've been using, the guy went for 5 months before he lost any weight, right? And now he's like skinny mini. And so build their belief while they're getting through this process to encourage them. But I start them out at the 1 ProBio5, and I tell them basically, I'm going to check in with you tomorrow morning to see how you felt. That's how, in the first week, I'm pretty close to my people who are starting with Triplex in terms of monitoring the effects of the ProBio5. If they make it through the first, first of all, if they make it through the first day and everything's fine, then I'm like, okay, we'll touch base within this next week. Just keep me posted. If anything starts to come up like detox symptoms, keep me posted. The reason I check in the first 24 hours is because every now and again, you're going to run into somebody that they might not have a laundry list of medications that they're on. They might not seem that severe, but then they take that ProBio5 and boom, they've got gangbuster of yeast overgrowth, and it impacts them and they feel the detox. You don't want to leave them hanging in the first 24 hours with a major detox and then take another ProBio 5, because that's only going to increase the amount of detox effects that they're, or die-off effects that they're having. A side note here, by the way, you guys, the reason people go through die-off effects, or what we refer to as detox as well, is because when we kill off the yeast overgrowth, the body actually, the yeast is actually exploded into the body, the toxicity. Okay, so then it has to process through the liver. And if you overload the body with too much yeast at one time, the liver cannot keep up to the processing and getting it out of your body, and then it hovers in your body. And then boom, you get nauseous, you can get, the yeast can look for another way to get out of the body, which is through the skin. So you can have red rashes, you can have itchy skin, you can have acne show up. There's bloating that can occur, mild headaches. I think those are the major ones that I'm thinking of. And then if somebody has something more mild, like, well, maybe this isn't considered mild, but even like if they are usually having yeast infections before they get on our products, that can get triggered during die-off. Acid reflux issues, allergies, things like that, migraine headaches, if that's a normal for them, when they start to detox, that can actually get triggered because it's that toxicity that's causing it. And because you're increasing the toxicity in the body, it's actually going to trigger it. So in that first 24 hours, I like to be really careful. As long as I get through that, then I like just tell them, check back with me if you're feeling any uneasiness, or I will be back with you in about 5 to 7 days. At the 5 to 7 day mark, if they are doing good, we increase to 2 ProBio 5. Now that's going to increase the amount of toxicity in the body, right? So that's why you're having all of this monitoring going on. The more yeast overgrowth, the more die-off symptoms you can have.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So that explains my daughter's body right now. I didn't know about the rashes. So she's been taking the Bio 5 and the Bio Cleanse. I started her on it because she also had the sleep done and she's had really bad acid reflux from the surgery. But now she has this major rash all over her body. And she keeps just breaking out in hives and we don't know why. And so I thought it was because she was having an allergic reaction to something that we were in contact with within Hawaii, but you're saying this could be why?
It definitely could be. I am not saying it for sure is, but if it's in line with her taking the ProBio 5, there's a very good possibility that that's where it's coming from. So here's your answer, Jennifer. Back her off of the ProBio 5. How many is she taking right now?
I don't know. We were just doing what it said on the bottle.
So she's taking 2.
Yeah.
A night. So back her down to zero ProBio 5 for 24 to 48 hours and see what happens with the rash. If it starts to go away right away, you're going to know that that's a die-off effect. So then you're going to ease her back in. It's actually, when people start having these die-off symptoms, this is a good thing. They're not going to like it so much all the time, but it's actually a good thing, and that's how I explain it to my customers. Like, this is a signal that the products are working and your body is releasing the toxicity. If you leave it there and avoid the die-off, you're just basically kind of in a way a walking time bomb. You just don't know it. Like, the inflammation, the toxicity, it's wreaking havoc on your body internally because you don't want to deal with the die-off symptoms that might be a little more external, like the rashes or the migraine headaches. So it's a really good thing. You just have to, the timing is really important. So if she's having that type of a breakout, back her off completely after 24 to 48 hours. If she is doing a lot better, then you can start her back on 1 ProBio 5 every other night. And then if she's doing okay on that, then eventually increase to 1 every night and just monitor. It's kind of like a balancing act, right? You're going to monitor what's happening with her. And there's a level of, okay, she's got some rash going on. We can handle this. She's not dying. We're going to keep her at 1. And then as that rash starts to ease, you're going to increase to 2. And then you can do 2 every other night, 1 every other night, and then eventually 2 every single night. So it's because as you get rid of the yeast, the die-off symptoms are going to go down too. The rash is going to go away. But
So
this,
giving her the Benadryl was counterproductive, is what
yes,
I'm hearing.
correct. Yeah.
Can I
Okay.
share something real quick, Tanya?
Mm-hmm.
So with Penny, we've been dealing with just some really odd skin issues with her, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. And we dabbled in Probio 5 for her, but not super consistent, and we were just giving her a half. So I started giving her a full one. I just went right in, started giving her a full one. 2 days after she started it, she had a horrible rash all over her body, but she was okay. I gave her a bath. I put some plant-based cream on her. It took 2 days, but it purged out of her system, and now her skin is looking so much better. She's getting 1 Probio 5 still every day because I knew this was a good thing. She was going through detox. Whatever was happening, it needed to happen to get out of her system, and now it seems like her skin is, whatever was happening, these skin issues she was having, it's on the mend, and it's looking a lot better after just a full Probio 5. So I just wanted to share that. But she got a really bad rash too, but it didn't scare me. I'm like, this is a good thing. This is leaving her body. We need that to happen.
Yeah. As long as she's not like itching her skin raw or anything like that, it's a good thing. In your case, though, I would say, since I'm not there with you, I don't know what's going on. Backing off of the Probio 5 and watching what happens to the rash could just be a really good test to see what's going on. Like if the rash doesn't go away, then you know it's probably not Probio 5 and you need to get to the doctor. Could be who knows what. Or okay, but probably it's a die-off symptom. And so back to Ariel, also, like this is how you're going to monitor people to just keep increasing. You give them a time frame. I usually use about a week. Sometimes it goes up to 2 weeks, where I'm just monitoring what's going on. If they've got some die-off symptoms, like if somebody is messaging me after 7 to 8 days and is like, oh my gosh, I am so insanely bloated, which is actually pretty minor, not a big deal. But I'm so bloated, I feel disgusting, I'm not going to increase their Probio 5 because they're going to be even more miserable, and we don't want them to have like a terrible experience, right? We want them to get through some of the die-off, but we don't want them to be totally miserable because they'll give up. So you want to have those conversations with them, kind of monitor where they're at. And I ask people, I'm like, okay, well, here's your options. You're feeling a little bit bloated, you've got some mild headaches, not the most fun thing in the world, but if you can live with them, you can go up to your next capsule and kind of see what happens. And some people will say, yeah, you know what, whatever. I want to push through this. I want to get to the other side. I'm going up. I'll live through it. I'll be fine. So you can have those open conversations with people. Don't be afraid of that. As long as you've educated them properly and they know what's going on, have the conversation. So I kind of want to move to that next product. Hold up before I do. So as you increase to 4, by the way, you guys, you're going to add BioCleanse, right? I just want to make sure everybody is clear on that. So we're increasing our Probio 5. I usually get up to 4 over the course of 60 days. That's usually my average time frame. And then I increase to 4 a day of Probio 5, usually within 30 days. So 2 in the morning, an hour after breakfast, 2 in the afternoon. So what can we do to help people through this time frame of detoxification to cause it to not be so uncomfortable for some people? This is certainly not everybody, but for some people, to help them to lose the weight faster. That one's a big one, right? Everybody wants that darn scale to move. I just had a girl last week. She's down 2 pant sizes and the scale has not moved, and she almost quit her products. 2 pant sizes she's down, because that's how much she wants the scale to move. To her, that's what matters, that number on the scale. So how can we help this happen? Ease, you guys. Ease is your #1 friend. Anybody on an autoimmune disease should have ease. I am crazy about this. If I have somebody on my phone call or on a 3-way chat that tells me they have autoimmune, I'm like, variety pack, welcome pack, period, end of story, needs to be purchased. If they absolutely cannot do that, I am doing triplex and ease, and I pretty much do not sell the triplex to an autoimmune person, and very typically digestive diseases as well without the ease. I am so adamant about it that my passion rolls over to them, and they're like, okay, put the bottle of ease on, right? So this is what we gave this girl, by the way. She did not have any diseases. She has no high blood pressure. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this woman that I just mentioned. And so I was not adamant about the ease in her first order. She ordered Renew You Essentials, sorry. She ordered Renew You Essentials, so she got a little bit of extra anti-inflammatory in the turmeric for the active, but she didn't have ease. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's get you on ease. She ordered a bottle of ease, started it last week, dropped 11 pounds. Okay, ease is a super important product for people who are struggling through detox or have autoimmune and particularly digestive diseases. One of the main things is ease has enzymes of serrapeptase and bromelain that break down excess protein. Remember I mentioned with the candida, you can have leaky gut and the proteins can leak into the bloodstream and they build up in your muscle mass and muscle tissue. The enzymes, serrapeptase and bromelain, will break those proteins back down and flush them back out of your system. And that's an important aspect of creating the weight loss. Inflammation, so for those of you who don't know, ease is a very strong anti-inflammatory capsule that we have, and it is shellfish based. So make sure that anyone who you are offering this to does not have a shellfish allergy. So anti-inflammatory, let's talk inflammation. Inflammation is a major, major, major contributor to weight loss, and, or to, I should say, it causes weight gain and prevents the ability, or gets in the way of the ability to lose the weight. And remember I said the candida causes inflammation. When you break up the toxins and they have to process through your body, you're increasing the inflammation. What's happening is your body then holds on to water because water becomes the insulator to the inflammation in your body. So a lot of times when people are gaining weight, that's all it is. They're not actually gaining fat on our product. They're gaining excess water that's an insulator to all of the inflammation that's going on as we detox their bodies. So inflammation it's prone to insulin resistance, which leads to lethargy, hunger, difficulty concentrating, weight gain in the middle, increased blood pressure, increased cholesterol, weight gain in general. It interferes with your brain's ability to know when it's eaten, when your body has had enough food. So just, I can't like express it enough, just order the ease. That's what I tell people, like order the ease. It's a super important aspect to the detox. They are going to feel, they're going to get through their detox way easier. They are going to have way less difficulty processing all of that detoxification or all of that toxicity. So the process itself is going to be easier. In terms of the other things that can help them in detox, lemon in your water, make sure they're drinking half their body weight in ounces of water, Epsom salt baths, and milk thistle, Thistle. That's the other things that you want to be offering them if they're having a lot of die-off. Dr. Hyman, does anyone know Dr. Hyman? He's super famous, wrote lots of books, it's all over Oprah, stuff like that. He said being fat is being inflamed, just a FYI. That's how much inflammation contributes to this. The next thing that I want to mention to you guys is Vital Biome. I know this is a way underutilized product as well in terms of detoxification. It doesn't really come in the majority of our welcome packs that we offer people, the more typical welcome packs we offer people. And it is known as our happy pill. So a lot of people are not thinking about Vital Biome when it comes to detoxification. But the fact is almost every ingredient in Vital Biome is supporting the GI system to reduce discomfort, bloating, gas, all of that type of thing. It increases lactobacillus, just to give you an example, by 418%. increases bifidobacterium by 157%. So bifidobacterium, by the way, is what protects the lining of the intestine from being perforated for those toxins to get into the bloodstream. So it's a hugely important aspect for autoimmune sufferers, is to up the bifidobacterium in their system. So Vital Biome is another like just kind of golden product that we have, and this is just contributes so much to why I love Plexus so much, is that every product is layered with so many benefits. I mean, Probio 5 gets rid of candida, but it also increases good gut bacteria, right? BioCleanse oxygenates the cells, pH balances the body, and gives a magnesium flush to your digestive tract. Pink Drink decreases inflammation, balances blood sugars, increases good gut bacteria for 5 key gut bacteria. Super, super cool that our company does that. Because, I mean, honestly, they could probably make more money by making a whole bunch of different products that do the same thing and separate it all out. Wanted to mention 2 more products in terms of weight loss and how it works hand in hand with both balancing blood sugars, but especially with regard to thyroid. I don't know if you guys have how far you are into your businesses, but thyroid disease is going to come up all the time. Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, those are 2 big ones, and then just regular thyroid disease, people have had their thyroid taken out, all of the things. One of the, just a little fun, I don't know if it's a fun tidbit, but I actually read that people with breast cancer, I'm sorry, other way around. People who have thyroid disease generally get breast cancer within 8 years. That was like something I had read. I didn't do a ton of research on this, but it is kind of a hand-in-hand thing. So it's helpful. It's a prevalent disease if you think about how common breast cancer is as compared to a lot of other cancers. So you can kind of think of it that way. Thyroid is pretty common. So I wanted to mention to you guys MetaBurn. If you've got somebody who is super freakish about seeing the scale move or losing the weight fast, and you're going to sell them a triplex, I almost always try to add on that MetaBurn, okay? Because it's going to increase the quickness of the weight loss and kind of offset what's going on in terms of the detox. MetaBurn also has that layered effect, which is really cool. It's going to improve their mood with 5-HTP, and it has rhodiola and grains of paradise, which both support thyroid disease. So remember, thyroid is balancing the glucose levels, and it's just a really important aspect of having your hormones balanced is a really important aspect of losing weight. And then you have balance. Wanted to mention that one also because that helps to regulate glucose metabolism, and again goes all the way back to what I was discussing in the very beginning of how insulin, if you don't have a balanced glucose and it spikes, your glucose levels spike, which I think I might have forgot to mention this. Glucose feeds your cells energy. Excess glucose gets stored as fat. And first and foremost, it gets stored in the liver. So if you hear about people with fatty liver disease, this is what's going on. They have way too much glucose. It's in excess, so of just being used as energy, and it's being stored as fat. When you have the spike in glucose, then you have the spike in insulin, which sets off a stress in your adrenal glands, which sets off a stress with your thyroid. Okay, so you have this trigger effect going on. Balance is an important product for this stuff, you guys, because it's going to regulate the glucose. It's going to help your body regulate the glucose by slowing down the absorption of carbs and sugars and actually processing up to 48% of them through the body or out of the body versus having them absorb into the body. The last thing that I'm going to let you guys know, and actually it was supposed to be the first thing, is when I'm working with somebody and they don't want a large pack, which I try to avoid as much as possible. I try to sell the $1.99 packs as much as possible because they're getting both that gut health and the heavy duty weight loss products that we have. So you avoid a lot of the conversations of why isn't the scale moving, right? Because you've got the best products for both areas. You're not just having a slowdown in your weight loss because you're focusing only on detox. You're offsetting that detox with either the variety pack with the Ease and the X Factor and so forth, or our lean, our active and so forth. So it's a lot, so worth it. So worth people buying the $199 welcome packs. They get so much more bang for their buck. They get so much better outcome in their first 30 days. It makes your job as an ambassador way easier because they are happier. They are seeing results from both ends, gut health and more of the weight loss, energy, mood. Like, you get the full package for a few extra bucks. Because here's the deal, if they buy a $99 welcome pack from me, most of them are adding on at least one bottle of product anyway. If they choose to add on 2 bottles, I upsell them to a $199 every time because it's stupid not to. For their pocketbook, it would be stupid not to. But at the lower, if I do have to sell a $99 welcome pack, it's generally Healthy Weight Basics or Triplex. So you might be a triplex lover like me, and you want everybody on triplex, right? But we also have to look at this from a business standpoint. And some people are addicted to that scale and they want that movement and they want it fast. So a little quick tip for you guys, ask the question. I do it all the time. Are you more interested in seeing gut health with a little bit slower weight loss potential, or do you want super fast weight loss? And then I will say, here's your options with the Healthy Weight Basics or the triplex. And if they choose the triplex, then I will say, okay, perfect. I love your brain, because you're after my heart. I love the gut health side. Just an FYI, if you throw in a bottle of Metaburn, or in some cases, I'll say the Ease, depending upon their situation, you're going to see faster weight loss while you're getting the detox. And so generally speaking, if I sell the gut health triplex, I'm selling a bottle of Metaburn with it. It makes them happier. It makes your life a lot easier. It's a way better situation for everybody. And then if I sell the Healthy Weight Basics and they opt for that, I just say, great, no problem. We'll start you out with Healthy Weight Basics. Keep in mind, you're going to want to add the ProBio 5 and BioCleanse, hopefully within your second month, but you're going to need it. I just had this happen last month. Had a girl order Healthy Weight Basics. She messaged me this week and said, what products do I need to add? So eventually they end up getting them anyway. Okay, what questions do you guys have?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. I just bought the triplex for my son, and I was just wondering, he gets up early in the morning, and it says in the card, he should drink the drink and then 30 minutes wait to eat, but he doesn't have the luxury of all that time. I have to get him ready right away to go to school. So I don't know, is there a different time I can give him, or does it have to be in that particular way?
It's not super rigid, honestly. I mean, the recommended dosage is take your slim drink in the morning, eat 20 to 30 minutes later. If he absolutely can't do that, give him the slim drink in the morning with something to eat. Or if you have to give it to him after he gets done with school, although if he's using this product for ADHD type symptoms, you're going to want to get it in his system in the morning. But if that's not the case and you can give it to him in the afternoon, that's fine too. We have a lot of people who will take the hunger control in the afternoon in order to avoid snacking at night. It's not the end of the world if you take it at a different time.
Yeah, his is for the ADHD.
Yeah, get it in the morning then, and just give him food with it.
Yeah, we try to I'm trying to gradually 15 minutes in between. Then he takes that other pill that goes with it. What is it? The what?
Edge.
No, but if that's recommended, but I give him the BioCleanse. So I just got the small package. Is it the BioCleanse? Yeah, the BioCleanse. Is that okay?
You give that.
And that and the vitamins. I give him vitamins too.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to get the products into your body. That not getting it into the body is worse than getting it into the body at the wrong time, if you will. But the BioCleanse at the same time of all the other products you just mentioned is probably the one that makes me cringe the most, because BioCleanse is giving your digestive tract a magnesium flush. So I generally try to get everybody to take BioCleanse independent of any food source within an hour, because if you're taking the Slim and you're taking the X Factor Plus, and then you're taking BioCleanse at the same time, and the BioCleanse starts flushing your digestive tract, how do you know it's not flushing out the pink drink and the X Factor along with everything else?
Oh, okay. So I don't, okay, so forget what it said on there, because it said something and I'm like, I was kind of trying to follow it on the package. So, but this is for ADHD. So I'll just give him the pink drink, have his wait 15 minutes or so, then food, and then BioCleanse when he gets home, because he doesn't usually eat right away when he gets
And
home.
here's BioCleanse that you're getting, right?
When he gets home.
This other product that the products that you're giving him right now, you're sure it's BioCleanse and Slim and X Factor? Is that what you're giving him?
BioCleanse. I even got the Pro Bio 5.
Okay. So here's what I would do. For you, I would do the Slim in the morning. If you have X Factor, I kind of couldn't understand that, but if you have X Factor with it, you can take those two together and have his breakfast. Then if he cannot take the BioCleanse at school, I would have him take it when he gets home, an hour before or before he eats. Try to make it at least an hour before he eats. And then he can take ProBio 5 at night before bed. So for ADHD, the Slim is, what you're doing is really good. FYI, Mega X, which is our omega, 5 different omegas, plant-based omega, that is super excellent for ADHD issues. And so is Edge. Edge is a caffeine product, which is odd to me. Like when I was learning about this, I didn't realize you would give an ADHD kid something with more caffeine, but apparently that is what even the doctors recommend oftentimes. But Edge has a component in it which helps with mental clarity, and it is really, really effective. I have a customer on that.
When would you give him the Edge then? I don't have the Edge yet, but when would you give it to him?
I would test it out with him in the morning before he goes to school. Because I have a guy who is super ADHD. He's like crazy ADHD. And he raves about this product, and he's an adult. So he works with a bunch of construction contractors. And his performance has been increased so much. All of his guys, like, they're like, I need some. He was like laughing with me, telling me like, I feel like a drug dealer. I'm giving all these guys my Edge, you know. So it's pretty effective that way. But so is the Mega X. If you want to avoid caffeine, you can give a Mega X too.
My 12-year-old does take Edge as well, and he loves it.
Yeah, it's a really good product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll probably buy the Edge then and give him the Edge in the morning, like you said, in that Slim drink, and then switch his BioCleanse, because he doesn't even eat. He doesn't want to eat yet till an hour later. And then at night, I give him the Pro Bio 5 and the, I have some fish oils that I need to finish up first because I bought him some. So I'm finishing those up before I buy the Mega X.
I would just personally have him take Edge after he's got some food in his system, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
I recommend, but, because there is some caffeine in it.
Uh-huh. Well, he's a good eater, so he always eats breakfast.
Good. That's good.
So that's a good thing. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Tanya, I actually have a lot of questions, and I feel like I'll take up too much time for everybody else. If you would just like to answer my questions, because I feel like we haven't been doing things right since we started the products, and I didn't even know about the ADHD stuff. I have a daughter two daughters who are ADHD, but my one, because of her meds, doesn't eat, and she hasn't grown in 2 years. And so they actually have us seeing a nutritionalist and a specialist. And she's the only one in our family who gets a huge bowl of ice cream before she goes to bed every night just to try to get calories in her. So I just feel like I don't want to take up like everybody else's time or have them listen to, be forced to listen to me. If you want to like talk to me another time.
That's fine. Yeah, you can connect with me on Facebook. You're definitely going to want to start with her, this gal that you're just mentioning, with the triplex system now. Like you mentioned the ADHD, but you told me all the other things, and I'm going to tell you, get her on triplex first and foremost. And then if you can add in the Mega X or the Edge, do that. But based on what you're telling me, I've seen lots of success stories like that. Kids, Helen McFadden is one who has a son that's similar to what you're explaining, and they couldn't get him to gain anyway, and it was the triplex. She's probably very imbalanced in a lot of ways, but you can message me afterwards. Does
Okay.
anyone, when should we take Metaburn? So Metaburn is generally recommended once in the morning at breakfast and once at lunchtime. It's a slow release capsule. But if people are struggling there again with like, I can't get everything in, I can't remember, my schedule doesn't work, just get it in their system. Pick lunch or breakfast and have them take it. And this is more along the lines too. I mean, Joanna might have some input on this because I know she includes Metaburn with the IF system. So might look a little different for you, Joanna. I don't know.
Yeah, I personally take 2 Metaburn right away in the morning just because it gets me going for the day. But I know that a lot of people can't take Metaburn on an empty stomach. So it doesn't really matter. It's just one of those products. You just get it in when you can get it in. If you can take it on an empty stomach, that's fine. I take 2 right away. I have a gut of steel. I can handle anything. But if somebody can't handle that, then I just say take 1 with breakfast, take 1 with lunch, or take 2 with breakfast. I don't really think it matters.
But you want your bio cleanse at a different time?
Joanna, do you take your BioCleanse an hour after breakfast and lunch, or do you do it at night with your
I just do morning and night, just and that's what I've been doing for a few years, just to make sure I get it in. Otherwise, I was always forgetting. So that's what I do.
With your Probio 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you see, you guys? I mean, Joanna has lost 80 pounds, 87 pounds.
Almost 90.
Almost 90 pounds. And she is taking her BioCleanse with her Probio 5. And obviously, it's still working for her. So, yeah. I mean, there is some flexibility, especially with regard to that Probio 5 and BioCleanse. Some people swear on taking it at the same time at night. So, enough people in this company have done that and had good results that that's not something you should necessarily avoid. If that's what gets it in people's body, by all means, get it in their body. For me, I try to do it the other way, of an hour independently by itself, an hour outside of eating. But even with my own customers, if they're struggling, I'm like, okay, just take it all at night. Just take it, get it in your body, because it's better than not having it at all.
Even for Penny, I'll mix the Probio in her yogurt and then half a bio cleanse, and I just mix it all together so she gets it in her system.
Yeah.
So.
Any other questions you guys have? Honestly, besides understanding the process of die-off and being very forward with your customers up front, monitoring your customers well, especially the first 30 days, being aware of their condition before they start on triplex. So the worse condition they're in, the slower you want to take them. You might have to start out with just Probio 5. I just had this gal this week. I started her only on Slim and Ease. I think there's one other thing I let her have. I don't even think I put her on the X Factor. It was like Slim and Ease and BioCleanse. That's what I did. I did Slim and Ease and BioCleanse because she was petrified. And she messaged me back 2 days later and said, I'm taking the rest of it. I'm like, okay, perfect. but just being very honest and transparent and guiding them well in the very beginning. That's the most important part. And then the second thing I would leave you with is make sure you understand how effective ease can be as a reducer of die-off symptoms and a benefit to the weight loss, the scale moving. And I think Joanna can probably attest to that part too. So, anything else, you guys? I feel like I overwhelmed them, Joanna.
No, would you say for people that they work up aggressively on the Probio 5? I feel like that one comes up a lot where it's like, if they work up slow, it almost like it drags out the detox and it makes them worse. Because I was a migraine sufferer myself, and I started with 4 Probio 5 and 4 BioCleanse. Do you have any experience with that?
Do you no longer have migraines? Because I get migraines at least once or twice a week.
No, my migraines have been wiped out for years. I was taking 20 ibuprofen a day, max out migraine medication, painkillers, all that stuff. And
yeah,
I was doing all that. So I feel like sometimes migraine sufferers, they work up slow. It almost is like it just kind of lingers, where it's like if you just work up fast. So I was just wondering if you had any experience with that.
I see what you're saying, and I agree with you. I don't know that I'm as intentional in my conversations about it, but I do try to push. I guess the way to say it is like when somebody tells me I have a migraine triggered from detox, I don't slow them down. I just am like, yep, that's triggered because of the detox. It's the one detox that I kind of take with a grain of salt. I shouldn't say the one. Believe it or not, yeast infections, acid reflux, and the migraine headaches, if somebody's talking to me about that, I'm like, okay, can you handle it? Because we're just going to push through then. Like, that's kind of how I do the conversation. It's people who are like super nauseous, they're falling asleep at their desk so they can't function at work. Those types of things where I'm like, okay, we need to back off if they're gonna, if it's impacting their life. Or a teacher who's running to the bathroom literally every 20 minutes, okay, we've got a problem here. We need to back off, because people in positions where they cannot be running to the bathroom like a teacher, you have to work through that stuff with them. But yeah, migraine headaches, and I just feel like, yeah, we just kind of
You said migraines, acid reflux, and what else?
Yeast infections.
Yeast, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so I would say with those, work them up maybe a little bit more aggressively. At least for me with my migraines, I started with 4 of each. So
that is crazy to me. Do not start anybody with 4 of each of these products. Don't do it.
But I'm one of those people where I'm like, go big or go home, you know? Let's just do this.
Would you say that though for if you've had bariatric? So I worry with Kylan, she had this sleeve and she already has heartburn so bad from the sleeve. They're thinking about going back in and having her do a bypass. Do you think should we push it up? I think we need help with Kylan.
How old is this girl?
My daughter's 22. So my daughter has severe asthma, so she's been on steroids since she was 5.
Oh my word.
And so she's always had weight gain. We eat very healthy at our house. We're pretty vegan. She is, she's allergic to all milk. So she's never had cow's milk. She doesn't have beef. She's gluten intolerant. So she eats a very clean diet. So the fact that she couldn't lose weight was hard, but she blew out her knee. And she actually has to get total knee reconstruction surgery. But the doctor said he won't do it until she gets down to 140. And right now, and before the surgery, she was almost 300 pounds and she's only 5'4". So we've lost, right now, since the surgery, she's lost 60 pounds, but she's been really super sick. And so Joanna suggested that we put her on the Bio Cleanse and the Bio 5, which she's been doing. And then she's breaking out with hives, which I didn't know was part of this. And I didn't talk to Joanna about it because I just figured it was something in Hawaii. We didn't, and she's always broken out in hives or she's allergic to something or other. I always say she needs to be put in a bubble.
Okay. So this is good information for all you guys to hear, actually. You guys, steroids are one of the most potent products you can put in your body. They wreak so much havoc on your body and destroy the ability for your immune system to function properly, wipe out good gut bacteria. It is no wonder at all that she is struggling like she is struggling. This is all an issue of rebalancing her gut health. And so number one, if I were in your shoes, so this is not a professional opinion, this is a personal opinion. If I were her mother, there's no way on God's green earth I would let her have another surgery of any sort at this point, unless it was like a matter of life or death. If she's having an uptick in acid reflux, that's probably die off. And acid reflux is probably present to begin with because she's got such a mega amount of candida. I could pretty much bet my life she is so full of candida, it's incredible. So she's probably going to detox for somewhere between 6 months and a year, which is going to sound like a long time. It's not going to be like, she's not going to be in a rash for a year, but steroids since 5 years old, that is crazy, a long time to be on steroids, and it's very destructive. So it's going to take her a long, and it feeds yeast overgrowth. And since you in particular are so new to the business, I'll just tell you that yeast overgrowth that we're killing off is actually meant for decomposition when you die. It's not supposed to be activated when you're alive. So if you don't get it out of her system, it's literally giving her a slow death. You can research that. You'll find that that's how they describe it. It's a slow, long death. It's deteriorating her insides. So definitely keep her on this ProBio 5. Just take it really, really slow. Increase your BioCleanse to 4 or more. You can actually increase that BioCleanse to up to 8 if it's necessary, only if she's like not actually going to the bathroom. But BioCleanse is going to help flush out that digestive tract. And I would get her on ease, but absolutely get her on ease. And then I want to share a little story with you very, very fast, but I have somebody on my team who was severe asthma since 4 years old. She ended up almost dying at 16. She was put on a nebulizer, I think it's called, and then a couple of medications. She ended up with 2 autoimmune diseases by the time she was in her 20s because this yeast overgrowth was just wreaking havoc. She was in and out of the hospital multiple times a month, sometimes by the ambulance by the time she found Plexus, and she thought Plexus was a big, huge joke. Within 1 year, she was off of all medications for all the autoimmune diseases, all of her asthma. She had not had a single attack since she made it through the detox system. She had 0 symptoms for her autoimmune disease. So I just share that with you. Like, even asthma, that's not something that you're necessarily just prone to getting and you're stuck with it. Very often, almost all of these types of issues relate back to an imbalance in gut health. And yeast overgrowth is a big part of that. So I'm really sorry for that, by the way, because it breaks my heart anytime I hear somebody's been on steroids for any length of time. That's a pretty long time. So just be patient with her. She's on the right track. These product line is going to make a huge difference for your family. Like,
I just wish we would have known about this before we would have gotten her the major surgery, but
me too.
she has to get the knee surgery done. She walks around, she's 22 years old and sometimes has to use a walker because her knee will just completely dislodge itself and she has to use a walker to get around. So she really needs this knee surgery, so she needs the weight loss to be quick.
Yeah, the knee surgery, I understand, but you had mentioned something about the acid reflux, like anything to do with like they want to remove her gallbladder or things like that.
Yeah, they wanted to remove her gallbladder and they want to go in and give her a gastric bypass like they did with me, which is the next step up from doing the sleeve. And that's what we want to avoid. I don't want her to go back in and get what I had done. Yeah. Because it's really hard for me. I don't even want her to do it.
Yeah, I would commit her to a year on the Plexus products, and she will probably be just, well, I don't even want to say probably, she will be blown away, completely blown away.
Okay, so I'll get some more Bio5, BioCleanse, and then I'll get the Ease. We haven't even tried the Ease, so. I'll get there.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, you guys. Anything else? We obviously didn't cover the whole gamut of products tonight, but I just wanted to give you some of the highlights. And FYI, I mentioned that Joanna had talked to me about her customer having liver failure and was on our products. And what I told her was like, first of all, we got to get her off the Probio 5 because, and I just want to mention this to you guys too, like when your liver has to process all this toxicity, it is putting a lot of stress on the liver. So just be mindful of things like that. And not that I truly believe our products are good for everyone. You just have to be mindful of how you're giving them to them. And in her case, I'd never heard this before, but apparently liver failure causes increased ammonium. So it's another thing to just keep, the more you can get educated on the products, which oftentimes is just listening to the videos. This is how I know this piece of information I'm about to tell you. Listen to the videos, read the websites. It's got deep details. How did I learn about Vital Biome as being something other than a happy pill? One day I sat down and I literally went through every single ingredient on Vital Biome and looked it up on Google. It didn't take me but probably half an hour. I found it really interesting. I'm like, holy crap, I had no idea the depth of support to the GI system that Vital Biome provides. It was pretty incredible. So make sure that you take the time when you have it to sneak in that product knowledge. But like X Factor Plus decreases ammonium in the body by 18%, clinically proven. So right away, that's where I was thinking like, okay, she needs liver support where her ammonium's too high. X Factor Plus is going to bring that down. Okay. Oh, I have one more thing. I turned the recording off, but Jennifer, I would get the book, Recaging the Beast. Okay, I'll write it down.
Say that again. What is it?
Recaging the Beast. It's in the chat box. That's really going to help you on your way to understanding a lot of what we talked about tonight. And anybody on this call, I mean, if you really want to do a deep dive, and it's not even a hard read by any means, Recaging the Beast is a super easy read, but it's super informative about how a lot of what I just explained tonight works. And of course, there's a gazillion books on the gut microbiome now. So if you really love that topic, you can dive into all of it.
Oh, I had a question on that Vital Biome you said.
Yeah.
Like I'm on like a low dose of like anxiety pills. Like when I just started, like I'm only like a month in. How long do you know when to like wean off of that? Like I'm just, like I said, I'm on a very low dose that I eventually want to not use that anymore for anxiety.
So technically, from a business standpoint, as a business owner, I'm going to tell you guys, when somebody asks you a question like that, you really need to state it is best for you to check with your doctor and work with your doctor. Make sure that you're staying within the legal realms of your business. So I'm going to make that point. But that is what I tell my customer also. So Sandra, I would say you can work with your doctor. However, I do let people know that a lot of people on anti-anxiety and antidepressants, more anti-anxiety than the antidepressants, but they will kind of self-regulate a little bit, to be honest with you, and they'll go off of the anti-anxiety a little bit at a time, like go from every single day to every other day kind of thing, and test the waters to see how they're feeling and so forth. And some people literally do go cold turkey, but all of that has to be a personal decision. From a business standpoint, I would tell you to go work with your doctor and come off of it as he is telling you to. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I can't tell whether it was more anxiety or depression, because hopefully this will all work where I don't have that. Because I mean, of course, with the medication, I'm like totally super person, but if I get off, I'll go like, I'm more of like a more shyer person, and this makes me more confident, to be honest. So I don't know if it's a depression, anxiety, but like I wouldn't be talking to you now like this if I wasn't on it. So I'm like, eventually I don't want to take this drug forever, because I don't know if it causes liver damage, because my mom does have liver disease. And I'm hoping maybe, like you said, the X Factor Plus might help her, because what you just said, her high, what was that, what you said, the high ammonium. Yeah, actually, that's the word they used.
Mhm.
They're trying to tackle it. So if I can get her the X Factor Plus and the doctor can agree with it, I can at least start her with that. But she's healthy now. She's right now, I mean, she's talking, she's doing great, and she's out of the coma she was in.
Whoa.
She was in the coma state. Yep. They lowered it down. They're giving her some of that flactulose right now. So she's doing good. She lost 10 pounds because she has to take that. But so that's maybe I'll just try her. Talk to your doctor if she could take the X Factor Plus and help her out.
Mhm. Yeah, and for you too, anxiety and anything mood related is oftentimes also a signal that there's an imbalance in the gut. And so the whole triplex system that it sounds like you're on is going to be, in my opinion, more beneficial than the vital biome. So another way to look at this is like the vital biome is going to clinically proven reduce anxiety, stress, anger, and depression by 25 to 32% in 30 days. How does it do it? It increases the good gut bacteria that is already scientifically proven to impact your mental well-being. Okay, so that's awesome. We've got this vital biome, going to increase the good bacteria. I can feel happier. However, if you are not on triplex and you just take the vital biome, and the reason why you're struggling, unbeknownst to you, is because you have a candida overgrowth that's attacking the good gut bacteria. We're back to my example about the sheet of cake, right? You're giving yourself vital biome to increase the good gut bacteria, and that's having short-term effects of some sort. But every single day with the candida present, you're attacking the good gut bacteria and you're killing it off. So you're kind of got to always look at things from that aspect. Like when you're helping somebody, that's why triplex is so insanely important. Honestly, every person on the planet should be on triplex, but all of the other things are secondary to getting rid of that candida, balancing the blood sugars, and bringing the inflammation down. Because if you take something else and you haven't taken care of the initial issue, you're still always fighting it. You're always fighting it. And of course, candida also makes you crave the sugars and carbs, which leads to weight gain and all of the good stuff. So kind of a nasty battle.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, well, feel free to drop questions in the chat group tomorrow too if you think of something. And I just hope this call really inspires you guys to learn even more about your products and really understand the power behind them. I mean, like I said, there's so many layers to each product that sets us apart from other standard supplemental companies. It's pretty unbelievable what our owners have done on the science side of our products to help people. Pretty cool. All right, you guys, I'm gonna let you go then. Have a good weekend. Thanks for showing up, by the way.
Thank you, Tanya.
Bye.